Mr. Rolle, you are here to prove you are not the father of Miss Gedelian's twin daughters.
Yes, ma'am.
You say she's infatuated with you, and that's the reason she wants to pin her babies on you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gedelian, you say there is no question Mr. Rolle is the father of your twins. You say he left you with 2 babies and a broken heart.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Rolle, how has this paternity suit affected you?
First, I want to say, Your Honor, she's obsessed with me.
Why?
She would take pictures of me. She would sit there, she'll walk past my job, staring at me. Then when me and my ex broke up, I seen this, like, numbers of pictures that I never seen before. I didn't even know it was being taken.
So wait, you said you saw pictures you never knew were being taken.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you obsessed with him, Miss Gedelian?
No, Your Honor. I am
How
not.
did this relationship start?
On breaks and stuff, I would go over to his job and get drinks or whatever, and he was somewhat of like a player, you would say. He would flirt with everybody there. So, you know, he was flirting with me, I was flirting back. So, I mean, after a while, you know, I looked him up on Facebook, and we started writing on Facebook and whatnot, you know, because I thought there was something going on. You know, we were flirting with each other all the time. And after a while, he invited me over to his house.
So you're saying you weren't obsessed, you were just interested.
Right.
And this
yes,
was
Your Honor.
proceeding like a normal courtship would. You
Yes,
talked
ma'am.
on the phone, you Facebooked,
Right.
sent text. So at this point, Mr. Rolle, you're single.
No.
You're not.
No, when she sent me the message on Facebook, I had pictures of me and my ex together. We all would go trips, we'd do vacation. So she was well aware I was in a relationship when she hit me up.
No,
Okay.
Your Honor.
You knew
No,
that?
ma'am.
She was well aware. She went through my Facebook and were able to find out where I was at, how to message me. She seen the pictures of me and my ex.
If you had a girlfriend at the time, how did you end up flirting and being in this full courtship thing with Miss Gedelian? Don't get quiet now.
Your Honor, he was cheating.
I'm a friendly person. I get along with anybody. It's hard not to like me. So I didn't really feel like I was being flirtatious in the beginning because I was in a relationship with a girl. We was happy, but then as time went on, on my part, I just felt like our relationship was going downhill. That's when she hit me up on Facebook, and it went on from there.
Ms. Gedelian, were you starting a relationship with Mr. Rolle, or were you all just flirting and being single?
When we started talking, I thought there was a little, you know, more going on, a relationship starting. And then until he told me that he had a girlfriend.
So he tells you, I have a girlfriend.
He told me he had a girlfriend after we already had slept together.
Okay.
I wasn't, when you came to my home, you know I wasn't paying my bills by myself. Someone else was living there. I had pictures on the wall.
You had her at your house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't trying to hide it.
You're not that sneaky. You just bring another woman into your girlfriend's house.
I was wrong.
Are you using protection?
No, Your Honor, we weren't.
When you all were having this flirtation, you thought it was a relationship budding. He just thought it was nothing, casual. When did it change?
When he told me he had a girlfriend, I should have stepped back and just, you know, stopped completely. But then at that time, like, my feelings were already, you know, starting for him, and we just kept doing it. It was wrong, you know, but we continued to do what we were doing.
I wasn't gonna leave the girl I was with for her. It was just, I told her what the situation was, and she, in my mind, she understood what was going on. Then when she started catching feelings, and I know she would catch feelings because she would buy me things, bring me food to work, and I see that she would catch feelings, I tried to step back, and then next thing you know.
Your Honor, he knew that that I was catching feelings for him. I made it known to that, and he said that, you know, he was catching feelings for me too.
I told you what you wanted to hear.
And he was kind
Oh, hold on. He just said he told you what you wanted to hear. So you admit it.
Yep.
You admit it, Mr. Rolle. You did tell her you had feelings for her too.
I told her what she wanted to hear. I was leading her on.
You were leading her on with
Yes,
pride and conviction,
Yes,
just being a lie.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And all the while you with your girlfriend.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did your girlfriend ever find out about this?
Yes,
Your Honor.
She's Facebooked my girlfriend all the pictures, all the text messages that we had. Even after she me and my ex broke up, she continued to send pictures of that she's taken to my ex, even continued to talk to her.
You sent her the pictures, Ms. Gedelian?
That was after I found out I was pregnant, and I asked him, I said, what would you do if I was pregnant? And he said, it would ruin my life. I said, well, then never mind. He says, you're pregnant, aren't you? And I said, you know what, I am. Don't worry about it. It's not your baby.
The first day, she told me she had to tell me something. I didn't find out. I had to actually like 2 or 3 days later what she wanted to tell me. That's when she told me she was pregnant. And of course it was gonna ruin my life, have 2 other kids. I take care of them, but at that time I wasn't ready to have no kids. I ain't want no more.
But you were having unprotected sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
With someone other than your girlfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
And telling her that you had feelings for her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that math don't add up.
It don't.
That's recipe for baby making. If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Let me make sure I'm on point with the facts. You find out you're pregnant, you tell him, you know he feels like it's gonna ruin his life. What gets in your mind where you decide, I'm gonna send these Facebook pictures over to this woman?
I found his girlfriend. We talked on the phone, and I told her that, I needed to tell her something very serious. I'm sorry that I did this.
This was like a public service announcement.
No, she needed to know that.
So at that point, you were filled with guilt.
Yes. She needed to know what was going on. He needed to step up to the plate and tell her, but he never was gonna tell her.
I was gonna tell her, but you just cannot force me to do something that I wasn't ready for.
So when you found out she sent the pictures over and now your ex knew about this, then what happened?
I called her and cussed out.
What did your ex do?
So when I got home one night from work, my ex was sitting at the table, she was sitting there crying, had the laptop open, I noticed all my clothes was packed. So when I went in the room and changed clothes, she came out, she was like, what's this? And she just started showing me all the pictures, and I got off the phone, I called her, I cussed her, I called her every name that my brain came up with.
This is because you're angry because she reached out to your ex.
I feel like she did it out of spite because I distanced myself from her, I just stopped talking to her. When she would come in my job, I wouldn't really say nothing to her, I just walk away from her.
Your Honor, no,
Trust me, I wasn't buying the public service announcement testimony anyway. So I'm sure that it was out of spite somewhat. But regardless, at this point, when you find out she's pregnant, your ex has been informed, do you think you're the father at this point?
No, because she was married.
What?
Your Honor, I was in the middle of a divorce. I had been separated from my husband for over a year. We were in the middle of a divorce that I was trying. The divorce lasted a very long time.
So, Mr. Rolle, your point is she wasn't completely divorced, so she may have still been having sex with her husband.
And I was told she slept with someone else. So, in my mind, I'm sitting there like, it can't be mine.
Where did you hear that?
From people I work with, and also people that works, and the partner that she worked at also.
Had you slept with somebody else?
No, Your Honor.
You gotta prove me wrong.
Was Mr. Rolle there? Did he participate in the birth of the babies?
No, Your Honor. After I told him I was pregnant and everything, and after the whole thing happened with his girlfriend, he kept telling me, leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with the babies. I already have, kids. I don't need any more. After a while of trying and trying and trying to get somebody to be there, and they keep telling you to leave them alone, eventually you just leave them alone.
In my mind, as another man on the birth certificate, another man was there for the birth, another man cut the umbilical cord. So in my mind, these are not my kids. If they were my kids, I would have had some part. You would have reached out to me at some point in time.
Hold on now, that's an important fact. There's another man on the birth certificate and another man was there for the birth?
I asked him if it was okay before it was even done, and he said he did not care.
Oh, so do you remember her approaching you and saying, look, I have a boyfriend now and he wants to sign the birth certificate?
It didn't happen like that. She was married. Like, in my mind, it was her husband. So you shouldn't come at me and ask me, is it okay?
But this person who signed the birth certificate, that's not your husband, is it? That's somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
She said boyfriend.
That's between you and your husband because you're married.
Oh, so you can go and have unprotected sex with his wife, but then when she gets pregnant, it only has to deal with him.
Your Honor, he knew it wasn't my husband at the time. We all worked in the same building. My husband worked in the same building. My boyfriend worked in the same building as me and Mr. Rolle.
Well, Ron, ain't this all in the family?
Real close.
I worked there for 5 years. Kind of.
You just covered every department in that building. Listen, this is a mess.
But she also got mad, told me that she slept with another black guy.
Your Honor, that was in the beginning.
So you said that to him.
I said that because I was upset.
So now you
Right.
infused doubt,
Just like
even
Correct.
more doubt into the
It's
picture.
like throwing
Correct.
gas on a fire.
No, you was already lit. Let's be clear. You all over the place, Mr. Rolle. Don't try to look innocent now. You all over the place. But I will say, if it was any little point that he could have been checked in, you gave him a reason to check out then.
You know, I'm Bahamian. And the babies came out way too light.
Listen, they come in all shades and colors.
But
how can you just look at the children and say,
I got 15, 16 nieces and nephews. All of them take after my family. Dark, head full of hair, babies. And when these kids were born, it wasn't like that.
had anybody else in your family slept with Miss Gedelian? I mean, I'm not being funny. Because if not, her DNA was not involved. So that can't be a predictor of what these children are gonna look like. I think we need to meet the man that's on the birth certificate. Ron,
Yes, ma'am.
can you please escort Mr. Taylor into the courtroom?
Have you stand right next to Miss Gedelian, please. Right here.
Mr. Taylor, thank you for joining us today. You signed the birth certificate for these beautiful children when they were born, and you were also at the hospital when Miss Gedelian delivered.
I was. Me and Sarah had built a relationship. I knew she was pregnant. Obviously, I knew they weren't mine. There was rumors that say they were Willie's. There was rumors saying that they weren't Willie's. After our relationship built, I didn't care. I just knew that the man wasn't around.
So when you and Miss Gedelian started to form a relationship, you decided you wanted to give these children your last name.
I did. Where I come from, you don't lay down with a woman without protection or anything like that unless you're willing to understand that babies can happen. So to sit and deny when a woman comes up to you and says, these children may be yours,
But you didn't know what was going on between us, so.
I didn't
why-
care. It wasn't, it's not about you, it's not about her, it's about those children.
So, Mr. Taylor, in the meantime, you stepped up as their father.
I did.
These twins. You signed the birth certificate.
Yes, ma'am.
You gave them your last name.
Absolutely.
You've been their dad.
Along with my mother's names, which to me is a big deal.
Oh, they're beautiful. And I can see the love in your eyes when you look at them.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Rolle, you can barely look at them. I think it's time we go to the results. I'm ready. Thank you, Ron. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say before I read these results? Anyone?
If they're mine, I'm the only man that they need in their life. I appreciate what he did, but I can do it all myself.
Anything else you'd like to add? Mr. Taylor, Ms. Gedelian?
I don't want them to lose my last name.
All right, it's coming out their birth certificate, they're mine.
Were you denying them or are they
Ain't
yours?
nothing, if
Which
there ain't
one
nothing
is
you
it?
can do about it.
Confused. So they are yours now,
Well, shit.
or are they not?
Shit,
Like,
shit.
you keep
Yeah,
going
that's
back
why I'm here to
and forth.
find out.
Luckily for us all, I have the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Rolle versus Gedelian, when it comes to 5-month-old twins, Rebecca and Gracie Taylor, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Rolle, you are their father.
I just want to apologize for not being there. It's so much had happened in my anger issues, I just pushed them away. Like,
And I can see that really hurts you now.
my father denied me my whole life. Me and my brothers and sisters. And I did the same thing to them. I told myself I'd never do that.
You know, this courtroom is about getting to the truth, but I love it when people come into this courtroom and have the courage to just tell the truth. You admitted you had some doubt, but what I thought was even better about that, and that showed me who you were as a man, is that you admitted that you let anger get the best of you.
I appreciate what he did, but I'm the only man that them girls need in their life. You may want your name on their birth ticket, but that's not gonna happen.
We'll see.
You know, this is a difficult situation.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rolle, with this information you've gotten today, you would have to proceed in your home state
I don't have no
to
problem
have
with that.
his name removed.
Oh, I understand.
Okay. So you've got some catching up to do, Mr. Rolle?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Taylor, you've got some adjusting to do.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Gedelian, you're going to have some mediating to do. Ms. Graves, you state your marriage is on the rocks and on the brink of divorce.
Yes, ma'am.
You're suing your husband, Mr. Baker, for a paternity test to prove that he's your 19-year-old daughter, Voneisha's biological father. You claim you're hoping this DNA test will fix your family. Mr. Baker, you claim you're not the father because your wife admitted that not one, but two other men could possibly be Voneisha's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Graves, so how is your marriage in turmoil exactly?
I've been dealing with him for 22 years now. When we got together this last time, I feel like he kind of punishing me and my daughter. You know,
Punishing you how?
like the way he treats us. You know, I mean, he's not the man that he should be for the family.
What is he punishing you for?
We had a DNA for my first daughter. It was 22 years ago, and he took care of her for a whole year. And I was always honest. I always told him there was a possibility for her as well. Oh, well, you know, I was loose back then, you know, it is what it is.
So you feel like that's our problem?
But wait a minute. To take me back to the story, you're saying 22 years ago you had a daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And for a year he thought it was his biological daughter.
Yes.
But you were honest that it may or may not be. Ultimately, you had a DNA test and it was determined that in fact he was not the biological father of your older daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the reason why you believe he has doubt concerning your daughter, Voneisha.
Correct.
And part of the reason why you believe he's trying to punish you both?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he was hurt from the first results, you know.
So
but
you mean tough love is like punishing you?
You don't just come off showing tough love to a child
But if that's
that
all
you
I
really
know,
don't know anything
that's all
about.
I know, Miss Graves. I never had a father. I really don't know how to love, you understand? So,
Well,
I mean, if that's
that's
what I
not my
know, I mean,
fault.
I understand that, and that's your problem. You're not trying to understand your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault.
Well, I'd like to understand it a little more. Explain, how does he treat your daughter? Why are you saying, what is this tough love you're talking?
He's saying tough love, but he cusses her. I mean, he's rude.
Mr. Baker, why are you cursing a 19-year-old girl? What is this behavior?
I mean, verbal words come out due to the fact that, you know, hey, she felt like I hurt her. So, you
Well,
know,
he does me the same
So
way.
what I'm
that's
trying to
the
understand
problem.
is, Ms. Graves, you believe this treatment, the way that he interacts with your daughter is based upon his doubt.
Yes. Our marriage is having problems. Just like he stated before, he doesn't know how to love. Well, that's a problem. Why did you marry me if you didn't know how to love? You should have got yourself together and then came to me.
So you're blaming me, right?
Yes, my family is a package deal. You
So
knew
you
that,
blaming me?
if father or not. Though these are my children. When you came into my life, you came into their life. You know, you treat them as your children, your
See, that's the
stepchildren.
problem. We're constantly blaming. And we can get out of the vocal
So
of not
I
just
want to
blaming one person and
understand as
understanding
well.
there's two for
I want to
marriage,
understand
not
as
one.
well. You two have been in a relationship for almost 22 years.
No.
No, ma'am.
We've been dealing with each other for 22 years.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I think that's what I meant, but
Yeah.
thank you for the clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I appreciate that. But what I want to make clear is you were not married until later on.
Yes, ma'am.
How long ago did you get married?
4 years.
2011.
Okay, and you have always told him he's Voneisha's father.
Well, when she was 5,
I mean, I made
went to
mistakes,
him.
though.
I went to him to his mother's house, and I said, Michael, I seen some resemblance. So I went to him and I said, Michael, Mr. Baker, I think we need to do a paternity test.
But do looks
And
always count?
He
Do looks always
cursed me
count?
out and belittled me in front
Oh,
of
my.
many of people.
Oh, my.
And said he
Oh,
didn't
my.
even have sex with me around that time.
Oh, my. Because a memory is a thing that gets lost every once in a while. You understand? I mean, you were with other guys at the time. I was with other people. So
It didn't
you just
matter.
Can't just say
You were a
basically-
possibility,
just
so you should have
basically
said
can't say
okay
that-
and
that
went
this
on
was
with
meant.
it.
All
But
right,
Mr.
okay.
We wouldn't be
do you
here today.
Do you remember this instance when you were on and off? At some point, she came to you and said, "I think Voneisha is your daughter." Do
I
you
don't
remember that?
I don't remember as far as like, just saying.
You don't remember
basically
cussing me out in front of your mom
in front of my mom?
and your sister and her
front of my
friends?
sister?
Yes,
No.
yes.
You don't remember that, sir?
I mean, I might have did it. I'm not gonna say I didn't.
He
I did it,
remember.
but I'm not gonna
See,
say I
that's the
remember,
problem.
Your Honor. Because for the simple fact is, if we've already been this way, why wouldn't you come to me and say, let's have a paternity test if it was like that? You understand?
Do
Instead
you
of just
remember
saying,
being asked to have a paternity
no, I
test?
don't
Yes.
remember that. I don't
As it
remember.
relates
I
to
don't-
Voneisha?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
19
Yes.
years old, and a lot has happened since she was 5.
Yes.
You obviously continued to discuss paternity. Ms. Graves, you told him he was her father. Did you ever accept that
She never
fact?
told me I was her father. She's never said that I was her father.
Okay,
You've
but
never told-
what about when she was 10?
When she was 10.
And
okay.
we were together,
Okay.
and she was calling you
You
daddy.
told me that she was
and-
my father. I mean, I
No,
was her father.
you told me
You
that
told
she
me that.
looked like you.
Okay,
It was
resemblance.
similarity.
I said that.
Okay.
I know I said
okay,
that.
then.
But I didn't say,
So he
did
been
you say
knowing
that
it.
I was her father? I mean, when you see a child and you look at a child, you look at them and you be like, okay, well, it could be because of the possibility that we were having sex.
Okay, so the
You understand?
possibility should have let you know that it was time to stand up and step up and try to get a DNA long before now.
You're right. I mean, you're right. I mean, I make mistakes. I'm human. You understand? So, I mean, you got to realize that at the same time, I was hurt from the
Well,
first time.
mistake after mistake after mistake has led us here. I mean, we're separated right now. I went to my mom's house for 2 weeks just to clear my mind. I have terminal cancer. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't even know how to treat me with that. He's not compassionate. He cussed me out. I'm doing chemo, and right before I do the chemo, we're arguing, and my blood pressure shot
So it's
through the
basically a
roof.
blame on me, though.
Yes.
Blame me, blame me, blame me.
Mr. Baker.
Where's your compassion?
Mr. Baker.
Yes.
I'm your
Mr.
wife.
Baker. You married this woman 4 years ago
Yes,
after
ma'am.
22 years of on and off involvement.
Yes, ma'am.
Now she's dealing with a very serious medical situation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Surely you understand
I do. I mean, I really
that
do.
arguing and getting her upset doesn't do anything for her health, for her care. You understand that,
Yes,
right?
I do.
And so this situation is very important, not just to her, but Voneisha.
But at the same time, when you have doubts because there are other people involved, 1, 2, come on now,
Well, that's what I want to hear, because when you talking thus far,
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest, you getting on my last nerve.
I'm sorry.
Because you, no,
I'm sorry,
you're
Your Honor.
not.
I'm sorry.
It's like you're
I'm
not
sorry.
taking it seriously. It's too much
sorry.
smiling and acting like
mean,
what she's
I wasn't
saying
smiling as far as
doesn't
because it was-
matter.
it was-
no.
it was
Let me.
critical.
You're not gonna out-talk me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What I'm saying to you is your response to your wife, even if you disagreed, there was a level of disrespect woven in your body language and the way you responded.
Yes.
Even if you don't agree, I'm gonna give you your chance to say what your side of the story is. But now that you're talking, I see a level of sincerity that I need to see.
Yes.
Because there's a child here that needs to know who her father is.
Yes, Your Honor. And that's the reason
And
we're
when
here.
you start talking about your doubt, quite frankly, I do understand where at least a part of it comes from, because this has happened to you before with the same woman.
Yes.
Talk to me about your doubt. What are your doubts specifically as
Like
it
I
relates
say,
to her?
it's not just me. It's 2 other guys, And the timing, yeah, you might say that we were here and there, but at the same time, the timing, it could match up and it could not match up.
The 2 other men, how did you find out about these
I mean,
two
she
other
told
men?
me about them. Miss Graves told me about
What
them.
did she tell you?
She said that it could be a possibility that 2 other guys that she's involved with could be the father of Miss Carroll. And I was like,
And so, Ms. Graves, you did admit to him that there were 2 other potential fathers.
Yes, ma'am.
So as you tell him to step up and get the DNA test, did you ever test any of the other men?
No.
So why do you know for sure he's the father?
Back then, when it was a
Back then
Halloween.
when?
It was a Halloween party.
We say Halloween. How are you gonna just say Halloween and you were involved with other men? So you're gonna put
I know
Halloween
when it was.
specifically?
You don't know when the party
I'm just
was.
saying, but
I
you're
know.
All right,
specifically
Mr.
saying
Baker,
Halloween.
I want to hear her story. I want to understand her explanation. Go ahead, ma'am.
Halloween, we ended up hooking up, So I was still dealing with him because he was my baby's father from the previous child. I have evidence here.
I'd like to
Your
see
Honor.
that evidence. What is that specifically, ma'am?
It's the conception date.
The window of conception.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what you presented here, a conception calendar?
Yes, ma'am.
This is like one of these apps where you can calculate a conception date.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Talk me through this. Voneisha's birth date is what?
July 28th, 95.
So when you put in her birth date, July 28th, 1995, and you press calculate,
Yes, ma'am.
it gave you dates of conception of October 31st through November 8th, 1994, meaning that was during the time of Halloween
Yes, ma'am.
where you were intimate with Mr. Baker.
I was honest. I didn't just tell him. I told the other guys too. I've always been honest
Were
about it.
you
Don't make it better,
intimate
but
with the other men during this window,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
8 days?
Yes, ma'am.
So why is it that you feel Mr. Baker is more likely her biological father if you were intimate with the other men during the same window?
Well, Your Honor, like I said, it was because of the conception and then the resemblance. When she was 10 years old, we got back into a relationship. At that time, he started seeing things. Look at her eyes, look at her nose, look at her, it was always her walk, the way she walked, and all of that. It was always
But at the
something.
same time,
Lanky, she
people-
lanky, tall and
people say that all the
lanky.
time.
Just like me.
People say
She
that all the
lied
time.
just like my mama.
They say
It's
that
just
all the
always
time.
something.
As far as
He's
like
always
looks and
throwing it
stuff.
up like he knows she is, but then he don't put it together
It's because
and act
like
on
you
it.
say, at
DNA
the same
tells it
time,
all, so that's why
when
we're
you
here.
have this in your mind as far as like, what if she's not yours? You finna go through it again. Are you ready for it?
So ultimately, your marriage is on the line because of this.
Being, feeling like the other one is
from
right
the
or
past.
wrong. Things
Whether
that
you
happen
want
in
to,
the past.
however you want to look at it, it's from the past. Me hurting him hurting me, or whatever. But it's time to get past that.
Exactly.
I'm trying to do this for
Exactly.
her.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not about him. It's not about me. I want to make sure before I leave this world that she knows I don't want her to be punished for something that I did in the past. That's my past. I'm trying to get it right for her now, And,
So then
and
why-
if our marriage can be fixed, if he can stop thinking about the past and move forward where I can be happy before I leave this world. She has to watch me suffer, And then when it comes to my kid, you can mess with me, but when you come to my kid, that's my child.
I mean, I love her, just like I love you.
You don't know how to love, remember?
Exactly.
I wish you all would have had this much conversation.
And that's our
I
problem.
tried.
We got a big problem with communicating.
You've got a young girl here, and Mom, you're worried about her future.
Yes, ma'am.
You are dealing with something very serious. You want to know that your daughter is going to be okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think I want to hear from Voneisha. Voneisha, please stand up. Voneisha, I have to ask you, and you take your time, baby. I know this is very difficult. Do you believe in your heart Mr. Baker is your biological father?
I don't really know how to answer that because it's very confusing.
I understand.
Hearing that I look like his family, hearing that I look like someone else's family, I don't know. I just want to know.
You're hearing it all the time, that you look like his family. Then somebody else said you look like somebody else's family. Voneisha, how is your relationship with Mr. Baker? What is it like?
Well, Your Honor, we have a love-hate relationship. 1 minute he's mean, 1 minute he loves me. We're not always on the same page. Most of the time we're bumping heads and arguing.
I don't know how long I have left here, but I want her to be okay when I'm gone. That's why I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to do what I have to do. So I know that she's okay, that she can get the love, from another parent when I'm gone.
And that's why this is so important.
Yes, ma'am.
I think the only way we can move forward is to just get the results. Are we ready? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Graves, Carroll versus Baker, when it comes to 19-year-old Voneisha Carroll, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Baker, you are not her father.
You're my daughter no matter what. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I just want to... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I would say a few words that I hope would help a family that's in your position and any family that comes into this courtroom. Help them move forward, because that's what this is about. But I could not have said it better than what you just said to your family. That was love. Good day, Mr. Barron. You are here today along with your wife to seek results of a long overdue paternity test. You claim that Ms. Bradshaw has been claiming you are her son, Ian's father, for more than 25 years and has financially drained you by forcing you to pay support for a child you believe isn't yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Furthermore, you claim you will return to court to sue for $21,600 in what you say were fraudulent child support payments when you prove your paternity claims are correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bradshaw, you admit you've completely confused your son, Ian Scott, by lying to him about his father's identity over the years. But you claim you believe Mr. Barron is your son's biological father. Your son will join us in a moment, and you are hoping today's DNA results will finally give him his full identity.
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Barron, why do you believe Ms. Bradshaw is lying about your husband being her son's father?
She's a liar. I've been with him for 25 years and I don't have any children to him.
How could you be with him for 25 years when my son is 25?
Because
we were not with him at the same time.
So
I've been with him for 25 years.
No,
I've
you
been
didn't.
married with him for 13 years. I don't even think he can have children. I think he's sterile.
So you're saying in all of the years you've been together, you've never conceived a child with
No,
him?
ma'am.
She did,
I
but
sure
not
did.
with
I
him,
sure
with
did. That has
someone
nothing to
else.
do with him.
Yeah, but you cheated on him.
Oh, and you didn't.
You always had to be with the
Hold
guy
on
that
one
I was
second.
with.
Hold on one second. Now, Mrs. Barron, I'm trying to understand from you. Why do you believe she's lying? I mean, this has been a long-standing accusation. Your husband's been paying child support. Why?
Because she's a liar. She told him that it was his child. He believed it. He took responsibility for it, and then she blames 3 different men. The father, it can only be one father.
Ms. Bradshaw, you admitted that you lied. Why did you lie about the paternity?
Okay, I was ashamed of him.
I'd like to know why, too.
I was ashamed of him.
Because you put my husband in jail twice.
No, I didn't.
For this child.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Saying he was the father. He was on the paper.
Calm down. Fill me in on this. Mr. Barron went to jail twice for unpaid child support.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Explain yourself.
Okay. I took him for child support, and when we went in and had the hearing, I was under the understanding that he wasn't gonna sign the paper that he was gonna get DNA, because his dad even said that he would pay for the DNA. And that's what I thought he was gonna do. He was gonna request DNA.
Yeah, because
he signed
you
the
tricked
paper.
him into it and
No,
said,
I
oh,
did
I
not.
love you, it's
No, I
my
did not.
son.
No, he wanted to be with me.
Well, I didn't say not because he's married to me.
I told him it was over.
No, I told you.
Oh, yeah, right. Really?
you stop
All right,
my
all
brother?
right,
Yeah, no, I
ladies and
didn't.
gentlemen,
Yes, you
ladies
did.
and
No, I
gentlemen.
didn't.
So you thought he was going to take the DNA test.
Yes.
Why didn't you take the DNA test, Mr. Barron?
Because I thought it was my child. And then she started cheating on me, sleeping around and stuff, and I just told her it was over.
What did you find out specifically?
Maybe 3 weeks after we was together and stuff. Found out she slept with my brother.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
She's
you
dating
did.
his cousin
She's dating my cousin.
now.
You're
Keep it
dating
in
his
the
cousin
Yes,
right
she's with
now?
my
Yes.
cousin right now.
But we'll just keep it in the family, but I'm the bad
mean-
girl because I help pay for his child support.
Hopefully
they took out
it is my
Social
son.
And she's saying it's a Southern man's kid. Why didn't he go for SSI? He was dead. She could have got SSI for 18 years and wouldn't have to worry about it.
So, Ms. Bradshaw, did you ever tell your son that anyone else could potentially be his father?
I told him what Mike was.
Yeah, he took her to a dead man's grave and said, this is your son.
Ms. Bradshaw, I need to understand this. You took your son to the grave.
Yes,
The
I did.
deceased man that you told him
Yes, I did.
was his father.
Yes, I did. And I was wrong. I was totally wrong for doing it because I knew that it wasn't his.
You knew when
Yes.
you took him to the grave
Yes,
that
yes, I
it
did.
wasn't his
But
father.
I wanted him to be. Me and him was going to get married and have more kids and be a family.
But I
and that
screwed
didn't
that up.
happen because he died.
So the whole time you were telling your son that this deceased man was his father
Yes.
and taking him to the grave
but
site,
my husband
you were
had to pay child
collecting the
support.
child support from Mr. Barron
Yes.
and cashing the checks.
But telling him it's
Yes.
another guy.
Ms. Bradshaw,
I know, I was wrong. And I regret it. And I told my son that I was wrong. But I didn't want to share my son. I did not want my son around them.
That's
I
life.
seen him twice all his life. This is the lady I
yeah,
married, and
Christmas
this is
Eve
the
when
lady
you
I
came
want
over
to
to
be
my
with.
house in '96 and seen the son.
Yeah, the only time that
Yeah.
when we split
Big
up,
time.
then you loved him
Split
again.
up.
all right,
That's
Love
let's
him
get
again,
some
believe
order. Mr. Barron, so even after all these years that you've paid child support, in your heart, you have doubt. You don't believe you're his father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
I'm hoping I am, but
You are hoping that you
yeah,
are.
I'm hoping I am.
In your statement to the court, you enumerated many reasons why you had this doubt, including,
Because she slept around on me,
and why did
and he does not look like me.
he doesn't look like you.
No, he does not look like me.
Did she ever tell you you weren't the
Yes,
father?
she told me many a times, Your Honor. She did. Many a times she told me.
Did you,
that.
Miss Bradshaw?
Yes.
He's paid more than $20,000 in child support
Yes.
over the years.
Yes.
And to this day, he doesn't know if he's truly his father.
But he could have if he would have requested DNA at the beginning of all this.
You could have just
When
said,
I
hey, why don't
told
you
him
see my
I
son?
did. You was not
Wait
there,
a minute, wait a
Sharon.
minute, wait a minute. You
don't
keep
know.
saying if he would have requested DNA, but if you would have been honest, then he wouldn't have felt
was
so
honest, Your Honor.
confident.
No, you wasn't honest.
I told him from the beginning. I even told his mother and father. That is why the father said, I will pay for the DNA, because he knew that the chance that he might not be the father.
But he just said that he was certain that the child was his
Father.
until you got back
not
home
true.
and you were cheating.
No, it's not how it took.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How has this uncertainty, this entire saga that you created, affected your relationship with your son?
We have problems. Mainly because of him knowing that Mike's not his dad and what I did.
I'm ready to hear from your son. Jerome, if you could please escort Mr. Scott into the courtroom, please. Welcome, Mr. Scott.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Your mother has admitted to lying to you, specifically taking you to a deceased man's grave and telling you that that was your father.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you feel? How are you
When
doing
I
with your mom?
first found out that the guy that's dead wasn't my father, I was just devastated. I was very angry with her, and I just had so many emotions built up. And I kept after her about who my father was because Dawn was paying child support. I never got to see him. We never had a relationship. There was rumors floating around. We live in a small town, so it's easy to hear things. And I went to the dead man's parents' house, and I knocked on the door, and they let me in, and they talked to me, and they told me that he couldn't be the father because my mother had gotten with him after I was born.
Oh. How'd that feel?
It was horrible. I felt like I lost my dad again, you know. He was really the only dad I knew. You know, I would go to his grave every year. When I had problems, I would go and talk to the grave. It just felt horrible. I just don't understand how my mom could have told me all those years that he was my dad when she knew that he wasn't.
You can't even look at your mom today,
It's hard. It's very hard.
What do you want to say to her?
I just would like to know why. Why I was lied to all these years, several different lies. And that's why I'm here today. I want to know if Dawn is my dad. And
Mr. Barron, you're very emotional as well.
Yes.
What are you feeling?
Feeling upset. I just hope he is my kid, and I just wish, you know, I could have had a life with him.
He would never pushed him away. His mother always pushed him away.
Ms. Bradshaw, you are very emotional now, and you've told your story, and you've admitted to your lies, and you said you've apologized. Is there something you'd like to say to your son?
I'm so sorry. I'm truly, truly sorry. I was so wrong. As much as I hate the fact that Don could be your father, I should have told you from the beginning, and we should have done this sooner. I'm so sorry. It wasn't you, it was me. And it wasn't even them. As much as I hate Sharon, it wasn't even them. It was me.
She can hate me all she wants.
Yeah, but I'll admit when I do something wrong, and it's my son. And Ian, I am very, very sorry. Words can't say how sorry I am. If I could take it back, I would.
don't change the fact, though. I just always wondered who my father was. And I just always wanted to have a relationship with him.
I know.
I have a family now. I have a wife and a son. And if Dawn is my family, I would like to, you know.
And we will welcome you with open arms. The same as we would have whenever you were a baby, even though she didn't like me.
Will you please stand, ma'am? State your name for the court.
Brittany Scott.
I know, it's very emotional. And it's hard to see your husband hurting in this way. You probably know him best, and why do you feel it's so important for him to know now who his father is?
Because he's the one to know for a long time now, and I know how bad it hurts him. I married him last March, and shortly after I became pregnant. And he said that he would always vow that he wanted to be in the kid's life. Like, he would read before the baby was even born and stuff. And because he never had a dad, so he always wanted to be that father figure.
Yeah.
And when I was 8 months pregnant, I lost the baby.
I'm so sorry.
And it's hard for both of us. But I think it's time for him to know who his dad is.
You think it's time for him to know?
I know it's time.
Well, the results are in. Mr. Scott, what are you hoping for today? How do we move forward either way?
If he is my dad, I just want to, start to have a family with them as well. Show my son that he has a grandfather, something I never had.
Your mother wants a relationship with you, I know.
We will still have a relationship, I'm sure. We've fought a lot when I was younger. I was very, very, very angry when I was younger over all this. Since I become a father and a husband, I kind of mellowed out, and I just want to do what's best for my family at this point.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're ready for the results. Jerome, do you have the envelope? I do. Thank you. Jerome, do you have the envelope? I do. Thank you. This report was prepared by DNA Diagnostics. In the case of Barron versus Bradshaw, when it comes to Ian Scott, Mr. Barron, you are not the father. You okay, Mr. Scott?
Just confused again. I don't know where to go from here.
Your son says he doesn't know where to go from here, and you're the only person in this room that could help direct him. Do you have any idea who his father could be in light of these results?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. And I'd like you to help me find who his real father is.
Mr. Barron, how do you feel?
Upset. Like I said, he can come see me anytime. As far as I consider it, he is my son. I paid for him for 18 years, sat in jail. He is my son.
I know the disappointment that you feel because the not knowing, I'm sure, can be overwhelming. But your mother has agreed in front of this court to give you and to give us information on who she believes is your father. And we will follow up on that. You can follow up on that. Mr. Barron, asked for your petition to receive the $21,600 you've paid in child support. This court is not the place where that type of judgment would be awarded. However, you can pursue that claim in your home state and understand that not every state allows for those funds to be returned because the funds are for the child. We'll be checking on you, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.